Yo, it's Rob here from Showdown. Welcome to, I think, episode 21 of Hot Takes of Anime TikTok. Let's just get right into it, man.
Who here is the best example of don't judge a book by its cover?
Ooh, okay, so we need to find out which one of these characters is hiding their hidden potential. So obviously we have Saitama, Chopper, Grand Zeno, the Omni King. We have Aluka, we have Nezuko, we have Escanor, King from One Punch Man, and then Mob from Mob Psychos. I have some thoughts, but I want to see what he has to say first.
I feel like Chopper is the worst example here. Now, his Monster Point might say otherwise, but once he fully gained control of this power, he went back to being exactly what you would expect him to be. Nezuko also wasn't the best example. Despite her being all innocent, everyone knows she's a demon. All of her psycho, losing control moments were kind of expected. Obviously, this geometrical child doesn't seem like the Omni King, but at least he looks like some kind of god, right? I feel like the phrase applies more to Nanika than it does to Aluka. Everyone viewed Nanika as this terrible wish-granting monster, when in the end, these two weren't all that different. I feel like it's valid to judge King by his cover, because it's not like you're just making an assumption. His overwhelming presence and appearance is actually lethal. Yeah, these two are picture-perfect depictions of the phrase. The irony behind their designs is as intentional as it gets. But the whole premise behind Escanor's character is literally this phrase slapping you in the face. From the way he's constantly underestimated, his forms literally being night and day. Could there be a more explicit example? It makes even more sense when he would also be the perfect example for F around and find out. This one just has to be a three-way tie. There's no way you can argue one deserves it more than the other.
So he had me all the way, honestly, except for that last part where he believes that Mob or even Saitama could be in the conversation. I think it's just Escanor hands down, to be honest with you, based off his explanation. Now, my number two would honestly be the Omni King, because you really don't know how powerful the Omni King is. Everybody else that's surrounding him, his bodyguards and everybody, knows how powerful he is, but Omni King himself doesn't even try to portray himself as an overall god of the universes, has the ability to erase universes. Omni King really acts like a child. That's how you see Grand Zeno. So when you're looking at that, and also knowing that Grand Zeno does not have any crazy martial arts knowledge, he's also somebody that can easily be judged if you don't know where his position lies within the multiverse. But I agree with him hands down that it is Escanor. From the moment you meet Escanor, a lot of people don't know his latent power. And even when he unlocks the one, there's also the one ultimate. There's also a higher step above that. You think Escanor's the one is the most powerful move until you find out that he can actually turn his life force into mana as well. So you have to pick Escanor in that type of conversation 100%.
3 bullets, who we shooting?
So there's a lot of people on this list that you can really dislike. Obviously, the moment you see Griffith on a chart like this, I mean, I'm loading up everything and shooting it right at Griffith. I'm sorry. I think you talk about the eclipse, you talk about how Griffith has treated Guts from the beginning to end. If you're a Berserk fan, you already know. But there's also somebody on this list that I cannot stand. I feel like, first of all, seeing any celestial dragons from One Piece, they're supposed to be like that. That's how they were really raised. I mean, anybody that went against how they were raised got kicked out. We obviously saw that with Doflamingo and Kodozone's parents as well. But I can't stand mine. She's honestly just a horrible human being because she had no reason to be crazy to Naofumi. Naofumi literally did nothing to her. I can see a lot of people going with Sean Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Obviously, he turned his daughter into a chimera, fusing her with the dog. We get all of that. But there's a lot of people on this list that I feel like are even more conniving, more devious, more evil. Mahito was even more conniving than Shao Tucker is. But I can't lie, seeing Kisaki Teta there from Tokyo Revengers, I mean, you're talking about somebody that's beefing with you across different timelines. That's a different level of hate. Honestly, you might have to save one of the bullets for Kisaki Teta.
Bro, this is quick and easy. I'm popping Griffith 3 times, then I'm pistol whipping Tucker. That's it. Griffith catching all of them.
All right, so he went with Griffith, and that is definitely the right pick. But I would save some for Kisaki Teta as well, because Kisaki Teta is antagonizing you over multiple different timelines. But when you really list out how evil everybody is, Griffith is 100% the most evil character on the chart.
So who best represents the title of the strongest in their verse?
I can tell you right now, it's not Hashirama. I can't say it's Benimaru either, just because Shinra exists. It's definitely not Levi. Levi is powerful, but we're talking about Titan shifters and everybody in their verse. He's not in that conversation. I think you have to go with either Saitama, Sukuna, Yoroichi, or Alucard. I think everybody else is out of there, personally.
Whoever put Sukuna and Gojo on this list is messy as hell. You knew what you were doing. We got Benimaru, Gojo, Alucard, Saitama, Yoroichi, Hashirama, Sukuna, and of course Levi. Half the characters on this list were once named the strongest in their verse, but unfortunately, they got that title taken away from them.
Exactly.
Now, with that being said, we gotta start naming them off. Hashirama, you're the first pick. You got Aoshan by Naruto.
Exactly.
Benimaru was definitely the best representation of the strongest in Fire Force for a long-ass minute. But eventually, he got that title stripped away from him when he got surpassed by Arthur and Shinra.
See? There you
I
go.
deadass watched the first 2 episodes of Hellsing just to make this video. And it does seem like Alucard is that guy. He's the peak vampire, but can he compete with the others on this list? Hell nah. I'm gonna let y'all decide between Gojo and Sukuna, man, but if Gojo never died, he'd definitely win this. The next to go is Levi. If Levi never got his handicap and became disabled, he's the second strongest in the verse. It's just hard.
I have some questions. I do think Levi is insanely powerful, but what are we really discussing? Because if we're talking about max power of everybody, I mean, are we not including Titan shifters in AOT? Would not the person holding the Fountain Titan ability not be the representation of the strongest in the verse? I think that really just goes hand in hand. You are the strongest in AOT if you have access to the Founding Titan. Now you can maybe shoot Levi some bail and say, you know what, I'm gonna keep just the Ackermans in this type of conversation, because we know the Ackermans are also extremely powerful against Titans and everything, and they have some unique superhuman abilities. But Mikasa is not that far off from Levi, so it doesn't really make it look like Levi has such a huge gap over Mikasa that it's a game over. When I see a question like who best represents the title of the strongest in their verse, Levi's gap above Mikasa does not give me that level of a standout.
Hard to compete against the Founding Titan. Do y'all really think a human like Levi can stand up against a 900-meter Titan? I don't think so. It's between Saitama and Yoruichi, man. This is really tough. Really, really tough.
Okay, so we agree at least on 2 out of the 4, so let's see what he has to say.
Just the name of Yoruichi itself installs fear, makes Muzan shit his pants, the main villain. Yoruichi is praised all across the Demon Slayer verse, to the point where it doesn't even seem like he's human. Gotta give Yoruichi his props, but regardless, it's hard to compete against the man himself, Saitama, the One Punch Man.
There you go.
Like, Saitama's whole niche is being the strongest. It's that simple. We don't gotta say too much. Saitama has to attempt to make his fights fun by occasionally throwing a serious punch. If Saitama ever ends up fighting God in the One Punch Man verse, and he ends up breaking a sweater too, that's when I'll give the title of the strongest to Yoruichi. But as things stand right now, ain't nobody competing with Saitama. Let's keep it 100.
I agree with him as well. I think when you're looking at those last 2 characters, Saitama does stand out even more than Yoruichi. When you see characters like Garo doing everything in their power to gain more power, more abilities, and all these things just so they can contend with Saitama, only to lose, there's honestly nothing else you could really say. Sneezing away Jupiter is ridiculous.
So this is a chart of how much struggle each person has been through.
Okay, so the struggle tier list. Yeah, this is very, very interesting. First of all, recently I did a video talking about how people were saying Itadori has one of the toughest upbringings, one of the toughest scenarios, but this tier list put him in pretty easy, which is wild. I personally disagree with Takamichi being in pretty easy. I think he needs to be much higher, considering that literally he can't even escape Kisaki Teta over different timelines. He has to jump through the future, go back to the past, constantly going back and forth, trying to figure out how to stop this man, because everything that he does really gets flipped back over by Kisaki Teta. You have to talk about that as well. Now, could he fix his situation a little bit better? Absolutely. Everybody that watches Tokyo Revengers knows that if Takamichi got in the gym, his situation would be different. Of course, Guts is in his own tier. I obviously expected that. I don't think Asta should be in pretty easy. Honestly, I would put Asta probably in some struggle just because the entire verse was looking down on people that couldn't use magic, and that's his whole thing. And I would probably put Kaneki in dreadful. The stuff Kaneki went through, if you know, you know.
In a tier list. And honestly, there's only 2 people that deserves to be up here. Well, deserves is crazy, but I don't know why Kaneki is at the hard, but he needs to be up there with Guts.
Okay.
I would say that Guts is a little bit higher, but Kaneki went through hell.
Absolutely.
Like, first of all, this man got captured because he was trying to do the right thing, or at least what he thought was the right thing, and ended up just getting captured and tortured for no reason. And if y'all don't know, Kaneki was caught by a guy named Jason, who is an expert at torture. So the way Kaneki got tortured was he got stabbed in the eye, which is the only place a ghoul can get stabbed in. So he could get injected with something that weakens a ghoul. And then he proceeds to get chained to a chair while all of his toes and fingers get cut off by pliers. And while this is happening, Jason tells Kaneki to count backwards from 1,000 by 7 and get all the way to 0. Which is the worst part, because he'll never get to 0 because it only ends at 1. And he gets tortured so badly to where he loses mental sanity, to where his hair turns white. And to top it all off, he puts a centipede that is a carnivore in his ear, and it eats away at his brain, and he could just feel it. And then proceeds to kill 2 people that were his friends in front of him and makes him choose which one. So yeah, Kaneki needs to get moved higher than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly, I completely agree with everything he just said. As I said before I even saw that part, I agree that Kaneki should be moving up.
You gotta take one to the chest. Which one you pick?
If anybody takes a Falcon Punch from Captain Falcon, you're ridiculous. If anyone takes a Kamehameha, I'm not listening about any of that. You see Neji is there. I'm taking Neji. I saw Moro actually sweating, getting ready to run after Gon was about to hit him with a Jajanken. I want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with the Rasengan. Listen, give me Neji. I'll be okay. I'll still survive. The rest of them, you may end up dead.
I don't know, bro. This one seems easy to me. There's only one answer because me personally, I'm not that guy. I'm not taking a Kamehameha to the chest.
Nope.
I'm just gonna immediately. That's just me. A Falcon Punch, bro. I like my innards being my innards and not being toasted alive and made in the outards, bro. I don't want to get Falcon Punched. I don't want to get a rock to the gut or to the chest or to any part of my body because then I'm losing that part of my body. I would like to keep that. Thank you very much. The Rasengan, bro, do I look like a tree to you? I am not that beefy or bulky. If I get a Rasengan to the chest, your boy is done.
Yep.
You saw how Sasuke lost his arm? That ain't trying to be me.
Come on.
And even the recoilless renewal kick. I like being alive, so definitely I don't want to get hit by that. Me personally, I don't know about y'all. I don't have a chakra system. Please go ahead, Neji. 64 upon me. Paralyzed, whatever. Go ahead.
Thank
try
you.
and beat me down, bro. I ain't got chakra. Do your worst.
Now listen, you don't need chakra for it to hurt now. Without chakra, it's still going to be damaged, but I will take that over everything else.
Top 10 strongest anime characters go.
Okay, so I'm assuming he's guessing them.
Saitama.
All right, number 2.
Of course.
2. Goku.
Number 3.
Levi Ackerman.
What?
First of all, Saitama being over Goku, but Levi as the next guest is crazy. I don't know what he's on, but you got the first two.
I don't know.
No.
He's fucking hot. Naruto.
All right, number 8.
Vegeta.
Actually, no.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm not a stranger to making bad lists, but based off the top 100 strongest anime characters video I did, I don't think any of these characters should be in the top 10 personally, but they are one of the most well-known. So if we're talking about the most popular shonen main protagonists, then this list will make a lot more sense.
Wow. Gojo. Satoru.
Yes, number 5.
Muzan Kibutsuji. Michael Jackson.
Yes, number 9.
So Gojo is over Naruto and Muzan made it to the top 10? What is going on? Who made this list?
Really? Ichigo.
The number 10.
I mean, I haven't gone far enough yet, but I've been hearing all about Gear 5. Luffy?
Not even on there.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
This list is crazy. I don't know who put this list together. The only one that you can even try to defend is Grand Zeno. Light being over Naruto, Muzan, and Ichigo is just straight up blasphemy. What, you're saying that Ryuk is a Shinigami with the Death Note, but Ichigo is literally boxing against Shinigami in... Hey man, none of these characters really are top 10, honestly. The only one you can make an argument for being in the top 10 is Grand Zeno. But there's tons of anime characters out there that are not as popular that should be in the top 10.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
Okay, wait. So obviously this is going to be a bunch of different answers to this question, but we're going to try to find out which one of these answers is actually acceptable or if there's a wild answer that cannot be accepted.
Full Metal Alchemist, no questions asked.
What do
Okay.
you think is the best anime of all time?
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
I like Bleach. I like Love is War.
What do you
Love is War being in the greatest anime of all time conversation. I mean, I don't know.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay.
I am a huge JoJo fan. JoJo's all the way.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
I do have to go with One Piece. I am rocking some One Piece merch myself.
What do you think is
Indeed.
the best anime of all time?
Devilman Crybaby. I have no clue.
What do you think is the
Devilman Crybaby as the GOAT. I think it's a very interesting anime. I don't know if I could put it in the GOAT conversations though. I think there's way too many greater shows out there that have had a better impact, but let's keep going.
best anime of all time?
One that I personally like the most is Attack on Titan.
Okay.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
Oh man, so I'd say Initial D.
What do you guys think?
That's a classic. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comment section down below if that should be in this GOAT conversation or not. I don't think it should be, but it's obviously because it's a classic. Not a lot of people today watching anime are going to know about that.
What is the best anime of all time?
Sailor Moon is my easy answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
My heart wants to say Trigun just because that's what actually got me started on anime way back in the day.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
I don't know if I would say best of all time, but I gotta go with Naruto, OG Naruto.
Okay, yeah, it's a classic.
So
I respect that.
That's my classic.
That's my favorite.
I got a tattoo of Gaara, so like I have to go with that one.
What do you think is the best anime of all time?
I love JoJo.
Okay, so a bunch of good answers in there. There's a couple of questionable ones, but I think that overall that was solid. Everyone had a great pick. When it comes to the greatest anime of all time conversations, I think everything matters. Not only does your story have to be compelling, but I think it also has to reach an iconic status where it is so popular that everybody can at least name a character from the show or at least know something about it. That is part of being one of the greatest anime of all time. And I think there's a couple picks on there that are kind of questionable. I don't know if I could put it in that range.
If you watch anime, you must be one of 4 types of anime enjoyers. Number 1, the person who strictly watches shonen action anime because every other genre is just blatantly intolerable. Number 2, the person who has only ever seen one anime but will still refer to it as the greatest piece of fiction known to man. Number 3,
my
the
gosh.
person whose taste in anime has aged like a rotting apple, starting from shows like this to binging romance and harems one after another. And number 4, you just watch what you watch. No specific pattern, genre, nothing.
So if you ask me, I'm a combination of number 1 and 4. I love my shonen anime because that's how I was introduced into watching anime. So obviously I still will watch a bunch of shonen to this day, but I do also watch a bunch of different genres as well. Not as often as shonen, but I will go into my slice of life, a little romance here and there, comedy and or sports, you know, Grand Blue, Prison School, Bimbo Gamiga. You can even name Kuroko, Haikyuu, things of that nature. Now you guys let me know down in the comment section below which parts you agree with or disagree with. And again, the Discord is now live, so guys, hop in there. We're having a lot of fun. And thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.